Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. And first off, congrats to all the great work being done over there at the hospital for Mary Maloney. And Mary, everyone is thinking about you and your mom, your family, and you're going to be fine. It's the power of prayer, and we are thinking and praying for you. And do what you can to help Mary and her family at this time of need. Certainly, they've been very blessed to get all the support they've had so far. We're here tonight talking sports, and we have a lot to get into. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, joined tonight by Andrew Fillipponi over at 93.7 The Fan, the PM team, the national show, the Pony Express on CBS Sports Radio. And Andrew, I want to start with the news concerning the offensive line. Jerry Dulac of the Post-Gazette put out today that David DeCastro likely will not play. That means Stefan Wisniewski will play, and that means there are going to be a lot of new people at new positions on that offensive line for the debut of the season, which might make it a little bit more difficult for Ben Roethlisberger. Your take on this situation?
Yeah, I'm still confident the Steelers are going to win the game in Week 1, Bob, but I'm starting to think more and more that this isn't going to be as Andy Reid said last year, this isn't going to be a Mozart. This isn't going to be pretty. This is going to be a game that I think might be a continuation more, Bob, of what we saw in 2019 without Ben, where you're leaning on your defense to win you a game because given Roethlisberger's rust factor, we've talked about this before, you and I, it's not like the Steelers' offense typically hits the ground running anyways, because they don't play much in the preseason, and it's almost like they've got to find their endurance, their breath in the first game of the season. They're kind of a relatively slow starter as far as that first game goes. So thankfully, they're not playing a very good team, a team that's breaking in a lot of new starters and a new head coach. But my expectations for the Steelers' offense in Week 1, the bar is not set very high, Bob.
Well, I think it could be said for a lot of teams just because of lack of preseason, lack of anything, really. I do think
not Kansas City. I don't think they're talking about scoring, 18 points in Week 1.
No, but
Bob.
I think the Steelers are going to surprise you, Andrew. I think they have enough weaponry right now to go in against and I think it's a bad Giants defense. I think they're going to score 30-plus points in that game, in that opener. So to me, that won't be a slow start. But if it is, it is. And as long as they win that game, because it's a game you should win, which leads us to the second game. Von Miller tonight hurt his ankle, and it looks like the MRI confirmed it could be a season-long injury. So, Andrew, that also would make it better for them coming home to the Denver Broncos, who I think are going to have a good team. And I still feel that way. But without Von Miller, that's going to really hurt their defense.
I see no reason why the Steelers can't have a great September. I mean, if they're anything less than 3-1 in their first 4 weeks, 2 games at home against Denver and Houston, the road games are the Giants and the Titans. If they're anything less than 3-1, Bob, I think they're going to put themselves behind the 8 ball to win the AFC North, which is what I'm predicting them to do. But I think it's a very winnable stretch of games to start the season. None of those 4 teams really scare me all that much. The quarterback in Houston is the type of guy that can win a game almost single-handedly. But short of that, Bob, I expect the Steelers to be favored in their first 4 games.
Yeah, I do too. I expect them to win 6 of their first 7, actually, if you look at what they have available to them. So we'll see how that goes. But it all will start on Monday. And at that point, you're going to see James Conner carry the ball an awful lot. It wasn't a surprise, Andrew, that Mike Tomlin said today at his press conference that he is the main man. He called him the bell cow. He's going to be the runner who gets the most touches. That's the way Mike Tomlin has operated. But should he do that so soon into the season, especially with no preseason and him coming off injury?
No, I would want to coddle him like he's a little calf, Bob. I don't want him mooing. I don't want moo in Week 1, okay? I think, Bob, I mean, the only reason why we look at history is to learn from it. And if you don't, you're doomed to repeat it. And I feel like Tomlin, he doesn't get it that he's got a running back here that whether it's genetics, bad genes, no matter how hard he seems to work, and we know that he's a tireless worker, he just isn't durable enough to get through a season. And the evidence is there. He doesn't get better as the carries go up in a game. He's just not that type of running back. He's built like one, but he's proven to not be that guy. So to put that much on his plate, I don't think you can depend on him for an entire season if that's the way the Steelers want to do it.
Well, he's certainly out to prove all of that wrong, and he did have the one Pro Bowl season. We'll see if he can get back to that. I think it's important that he does get back to that sort of statistical
number. But where was he in
especially
December
in the red
that
zone.
year, Bob?
What's that?
Even that Pro Bowl year when he got that trip to Honolulu, he didn't play in December when they
No, I
were losing
understand, but he
games in
still
Oakland because of an X-ray
He
machine.
had 13 touchdowns in the red zone, and the fumbles happened later after that. And the fumbles are something, if you're going to look at one thing that could derail this team besides injury or something of that nature, it would be turnovers. If they throw, that last year you could look at a lot of games, and it was fumbles in key times, including Juju Smith-Schuster. Interceptions, Ben, a couple of years ago. Those have got to be reduced. If you turn the ball over, I don't care how good you are, you're going to lose your share of games, and that to me is the number one issue with them.
Well, they don't strike me as the type of offense that is going to curtail that, Bob. I think that they're a high-risk, high-reward offense, and they shouldn't be because of the way their defense is set up for 2020. I think the Steelers are a very good team. I want to make that clear because I think their defense has the chance to be the best in the NFL, and unless they suffer a key injury to like a Minka or a TJ Watt, I see no reason why they're not going to be at the top of the league. But the offense, I think, has a lot of questions. And one of them is, what is their philosophy? Who are they? You brought up 30 points. That used to be Todd Haley's mantra. If they try to play, let's do it, no huddle as fast as possible, throw it around, try to make as many big plays as possible, they might beat themselves more than anything else, Bob.
And
if I were an offense, I would almost play not to lose offensively in a lot of games this year because of how good the defense is.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they have to do that. I do think they have some good weapons and good places, and we'll see. But I think it's a team that can win 11 to 12 games, and I think that should be where the bar is. We have a lot to get into. It's 412-575-2600. A lot of people on the lines. We'll take a quick break and come back with your opinions right here live. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week, right here on Pittsburgh CW.